Okay guys, today is Thursday, and in keeping with my garment tip Thursday, I wanted to come in and show you how I do my neckline so that it will lay nice and flat. So this is actually the facing that I cut for the neckline. I have a pretend neckline out of this yellow polka dot, and this is my front. You can see it's lower, and this is the back neckline. So what I am going to do is sew the shoulder seams together. So you line it up and you sew your 5/8 or 1/2 inch, whatever your seam allowance is, and I'm going to do that on the neckline, and I'm going to do that on my pretend facing. Okay, so as you can see, I sewed my shoulder seams together on the face fabric, and I also did the same thing on the lining. And now I've matched the seams of my lining and my face fabric together. And the next thing you want to do is just go and stitch all around, 1/2 inch, 5/8 seam, whatever your seam allowance is. This is my pretend garment, so it doesn't have an opening in the back or the front for your neckline. Obviously, if your garment has an opening, it's going to be different, but this is just to show you how to get it to lay nice and flat. So you can go ahead and stitch around. You know, if this is one of those tops that you throw over, pull over your head, this will work fine. So I'm going to stitch that, and then we'll be back. Okay, I've stitched my neckline, and now I snip like this. Now you want to be careful not to snip through your stitching, but as close as possible to it. And I'm going to do that all the way around, and then I'll come back and show you the flat stitch. Okay, so you can see I snipped all the way around. The next step and the last step to making your neckline lay flat is to just go and top stitch on your facing and your seam. The only part that you're not catching is your face fabric. So I hope you can see this because I did it with orange thread. Let me see if I can move my camera. And maybe you'll get a better view. Okay. So this is where I'm stitching. Okay, there's my stitch. There it is through the seams, the layers, the seam allowance. That's what I really want to say. And now this is gonna turn under. I usually just put a little tack in the seam allowance. Really close to the seam allowance. Obviously, if your same color thread, you won't see it. And you just need to go and iron your neckline. Okay, I ironed our pretend neckline. So here it is on the mannequin. And here is our facing underneath. Here is the back. And sometimes if I make a dress or a top, I get a little pucker in the front here. It never sits flat against my chest. So what I do in order to avoid that, when I'm cutting my pattern, pretend that this is my fabric on the fold. When I'm cutting my pattern, I always lay my pattern piece like this on my fabric. It always at an angle. I never do it like this because I'm gonna lose fabric, and it obviously is gonna be too tight. But in the neckline, I always lay my pattern on my fabric like this, so that gets subtracted and that takes away the pucker in the neckline. So that's my tip for today. That's how I get my neckline to lay flat. Hope you enjoyed. See you next Thursday. Bye.